There is exactly one moment in childhood where time feels infinite. The final bell rings on the last day of ninth grade exams, and you are staring down the barrel of 2 full months of uninterrupted, glorious freedom. Everyone is making big plans, fully expecting a pristine summer paradise. And then your teacher clears their throat to deliver some good news. Starting tomorrow, mandatory preparatory classes begin, because next year you're in 10th grade. In India, the 10th grade board exams are the first real academic hurdle where your results actually dictate your future stream of study. The pressure is immense, and for most of us, it meant the transition into the serious years began the second ninth grade ended. This timeline shows why that sense of freedom was usually so short-lived. That massive block of time you expected to have for yourself, it gets flattened the moment those board prep classes are announced. The reality of the break rarely matched the fantasy we built in our heads. Yet, as adults, our brains tend to filter out that initial disappointment. We edit out the memory of those forced morning lectures and choose to remember the summer as one long, unburdened stretch of joy. Part of that selective memory ignores the physical reality of the season. As kids, we'd argue that winter was actually superior. If you're cold, you can just add a blanket. But in the peak of an Indian summer, the heat is inescapable. You're just sitting there, sweating, wishing you could peel off your own skin. The heat was compounded by the rolling power outages that define the season. When the ceiling fan inevitably stopped, you had to rely on analog survival tools, like this traditional hand-woven bamboo fan. Escaping the heat was literally a manual chore, which led to the annual childhood escape plan. As soon as there was a gap in the schedule, families across the country joined a mass migration to visit their grandparents, specifically heading straight back to Nani's house. The rail network becomes the country's primary artery during these months. Every station is a sea of families hauling luggage and steel trunks, all moving toward the same destination at the exact same time. But the journey itself was rarely a breeze. It meant being confined to a cramped sleeper car for 20 hours, trapped with over-talkative uncles asking about your math grades, while a stranger's kid picks their nose in the berth right across from you. We all shared these exact same frustrations, sweating through the afternoon power cuts and surviving the chaos of a packed train. Because these experiences were so universal, they became the unofficial language of our childhood. Everyone you meet today has some version of the same story. Once you actually settled in at your grandmother's, a new expectation emerged. Parents wanted you to return to school in July with something to show for your time, usually a new certificate or an impressive extracurricular skill. This led to some very predictable disasters. You'd enroll in a dance class hoping to move like the stars on TV, only to realize you had zero rhythm. It wasn't uncommon to be asked to leave a casual summer workshop after just a few weeks of being consistently offbeat. Swimming classes were just as humbling. You'd expect to be gliding across the pool by week 2, but instead, you spent the month clinging to the edge of the shallow end while 6-year-olds paddled effortlessly past you. When the forced hobbies failed, the deep midsummer boredom set in. We'd try to manufacture our own fun, like attempting to become a YouTube star by recording voiceovers in a closed, sweltering room just to keep the background noise out. Failing at these forced hobbies was actually a good thing. It proved that trying to make a vacation productive usually ruins the actual point of taking a break in the first place. Eventually, the summer days begin to blur. You lose track of the date entirely until that sudden, cold realization hits. School starts tomorrow morning. That triggers a desperate scramble. 2 full months of neglected holiday homework has to be finished in a single panic-fueled 24-hour window. You're furiously scribbling essays and copying math problems, hoping your teacher doesn't look too closely at the handwriting. The final stage is the futile bargaining. You'd beg your parents to stay at Nani's house for just 3 more days, even though you knew the bus would be waiting at the corner the next morning regardless. We hold on to these memories because of the flaws, not in spite of them. The magic wasn't in the perfect, endless freedom we imagined on the last day of school. It was in the sweating, the failed dance classes, the power cuts, and the chaotic train rides. That reality is what made those summers feel real.